Hello and welcome to Off-Road Radio. I'm your host, Ryan Hurst. I am here to begin this video as an introduction to myself, my hobbies, and the tools I utilize during those hobbies. So first and foremost, I love to off-road. I've been off-roading since 2014. I really enjoy the hobby, the activities, the camaraderie that comes along with the community. And one of the things that has come into light most recently is communications while off-roading. You can see here in the image that I'm sharing, this is a 2014 JKU. I modified it a fair amount to do what I want to do with it, which is mostly rock crawling. As you can see, I really enjoy that aspect of it. I do not like mud just because, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to be much of a challenge. But hey, if that's your gig, I'm not going to judge you for it. I like rock crawling, and I don't necessarily like the massive amount of work required to clean up after mudding. But the biggest reason why I got into radio usage during off-road was safety. Safety is paramount when you're out on the trail. You need to, sometimes things break, sometimes people break. And so you cannot rely 100% on cellular communications, especially when you're off-roading. In my experience, probably more times than not, the cellular communication, if you have it, is patchy where you're at, even at base camp. And then you get on some of the trails where you're in valleys and you're in the trees and whatever topography attributes that are out there that prevent cellular communication are present. And so a lot of times you have 0 bars on your phone and you have no ability to communicate. So if you need if an emergency occurs, you need some ability to reach out, whether it be outside of the area that you're in or to someone in the area that's also off-roading that has access to cellular communications that can call 911, and those other people off-roading can actually come help assist, whether your machine's broken, someone needs medical attention. And so that's the first thing is safety, to reach out beyond cellular communications. The second reason why I got into radio is, I ride with typically four other friends, so we have a group of five. And even if you have cellular communications and you need to communicate within the group, you can only call one person at a time, right? You can't really share as a group voice communication with cellular. And there might be some apps out there that allow you to do it. There's some other technologies that might be able to do it. But radio communication just makes for a much more enjoyable experience to communicate. As you're going through the trail, right? You see something cool. Hey, look at that waterfall over there. Blah 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 blah. Or hey, we've got an oncoming group coming at us of three vehicles. We're going to let them go by. Um, and also when you're navigating obstacles, right? You get a handheld radio. The spotter has that handheld radio. You've either got a handheld in the Jeep or whatnot, or a mobile radio that's permanently affixed to your vehicle, and the spotter can utilize the radio to communicate to the driver how to navigate through that obstacle. Hey, I go passenger, oh, go straight, go driver, those types of things. Because if you don't have a radio, you're screaming at each other. You may have to rely on hand signals, and it just makes for a better, more effective means of communication on the trail. And so I just wanted to kind of go through that, why I got into it first, right? That's the reason why I got into it first. The what the channel's about is basically familiarizing people with how to get started in radio, right? Obviously, the need for communications out on the trail, I believe if you've done any wheeling whatsoever, you already recognize that. And so how do I get started in radio? What's legal? What's not? And that's really what this channel's about, is first and foremost is to get you introduced to the different types of radio communications, the different technologies that can come along with those radio communications as far as position beaconing through the radio so others can see where you're at, your telemetry information, latitude, longitude, speed, heading, all those types of things can be communicated over radios and displayed in your vehicle quite easily with not much technical experience. I can walk people through how to get that attribute and those functionalities at your fingertips. And so, I'll go through a couple of things here. There's my Jeep in a different. Got the doors off, the front tops off, modified it a fair amount, right? I have I've got a 3-inch lift, all the control arms were replaced, so you have the proper geometry, box shocks and accumulators, running 35s, rock rails, skid plates, front high clearance bumper, winch, all those things. So, just kind of give you a little bit of background on what I've got. Here, this is the setup I have in my Jeep. The first Jeep Jamboree I ever went to required that you have a CB. And I'll take a moment here and first say I would live in the world of acronyms, right? I know there's a lot of acronyms out there, and I'm going to do my best to first state what it is, state what the acronym is, so you can fully understand what that means. So CB is Citizens Band Radio. It's been around for a long time. Um, it's in the I'm not even going to get into the band, but it's in because it's too nerdy already, which is an introductory video. So here you can see in the picture, this is a Cobra. I can't remember the model of it off the top of my head, but it is a headless unit where you just got the radio remote mounted, and all of the functions to change channel and control the radio are in the handset itself. Here you have a LCD, a liquid crystal display, or LCD screen. You have all the different function buttons. You have volume knob, squelch knob, and over on the side is the push to talk, how you actuate the radio to talk into it and transmit your voice. The second radio I have in here is an amateur radio. I am an amateur radio operator. This is a Yaesu FTM 400. It is a multi-band radio, digital capabilities. I'll go into what that radio is in other videos, how that functions, how you can get your amateur radio license if you so desire. Not everybody wants to get one, just for the use of it. I utilize it as, I don't use it as a hobby, right? I don't get on the radio to yak just for the sake of yakking and make contacts. If that's your bag, fantastic. We can talk about that on this channel as well. But I use it as a tool, right? I stated what I use it for. It's for emergency purposes. I use it for technological projects that I run. I'm a nerd, as I said before. I do a lot of nerdy projects, and I can walk you through some of those projects if they're of interest to you on this channel. But just wanted to show the kind of the layout I have in the Jeep. And I'll get into the other technology that this radio possesses in another one. We'll move on to the next image. Here you can see that I my Jeep pulling an enclosed trailer and my 2018 Polaris RZR 1000 XP4. So that is a four-seater. The 1000 is the displacement, 1000 cc's. I really enjoy off-roading the side-by-side. The reason why I bought the side-by-side is because I broke the Jeep on the trails too many times. It's not a trailer queen, so I drive the Jeep to the trail. And so I have broken the Jeep to the point where I cannot get off the trail. I think the one that really kind of hosed me out on the trail was I broke the front differential's ring gear. I sheared 2.5 teeth off it, made it basically impossible for me to get out. I had to winch out. So the side-by-side, it's a different riding experience. I'm sure there's people who have either done one or the other, or maybe even both. I have done both. The side-by-side provides different attributes for off-roading. I do take it rock crawling, but it doesn't behave exactly like the Jeep. It's quite capable in rock crawling. I've modified it even more since that particular image. But yeah, I can go out. The side-by-side allows me to go out, completely break it if need be. I can go take the Jeep, tow it back, and then winch the side-by-side into the trailer and take its broke butt home and fix it there. So at least I can make it home. So another picture there. I don't know why I have it, but there is, here's one. I'm at the Grand Canyon. This was a great trail. I cannot remember it off the top of my head. This is at the North Rim. It was a 14-mile out and back, takes you right to the edge of the Grand Canyon. Fantastic trail. Let me move my mouse out of the way there. Here we are in Colorado at Red Cone, just outside of Breckenridge. Fantastic run. I highly suggest it. It's considered a red trail, a difficult trail. There are some very difficult spots to get through. The side-by-side made it. My Jeeps made it. We did one time see a Tiguan try to go through the gatekeeper at the bottom, and really, I love the sense of adventure, but that was the wrong vehicle choice. He got stuck between two boulders, and us and a couple of other off-roaders had to shove them off of the rock, basically. But that was an interesting day. Oh, this one. I forgot about this one. This one is where I won the Muddiest Guy of the Day award, as you can clearly see. I don't know if it was really mud. It wasn't really mud. It wasn't really water. It was somewhere in between. It's like milkshake consistency. Uh, I'm not even going to go into that day. We'll talk about that one another time. What I wanted to get to was here. This is my GMRS, or General Mobile Radio Service radio, inside the side by side. This is a 50-watt version. It is a BTEC. I can't remember. I think it's a UV50X1. I'll get into that in another video. But the point of this is not everyone wants to get an amateur radio license, right? No, not everyone wants to spend the time to go take the test, to study for the test, go take the test, and wait 2 weeks to get your license. Plus, and so really GMRS when off-roading is, I think, more locally functional because it's more easily accessible by most people, right? Not, like I said, not everybody wants to go take a test to get the amateur radio license. And so there's a lot of people that have these out on the trail. Actually, Jeep Jamboree has transitioned from requiring a Citizens Band radio or CB over to GMRS. I don't know, when they first were making that recommendation, they really gave you no information on GMRS, what that actually meant. And so we're going to go into that whole topic in other videos. But basically, I wanted to show that what I've got in that rig. There's an antenna. It's mounted kind of in at the rear of the vehicle in a more protected area because I didn't want to mount it on the roof. The roof would have been the most ideal location from a transmit and receive performance perspective, but we go through a lot of trees, a lot of low lying areas, and that antenna, I mean, it's a pretty decently tall antenna. It's a great gain antenna, and I'll talk about what gain is with regards to antenna selection. I'll go through a whole video on that. But I mounted this where it was protected, right? Because if your antenna gets wiped off, guess what? You don't have communications. So you need to, think carefully when you're placing your antenna and antenna selection based on what you want your performance and longevity to be. So here's one of my side by side in this is in Sedona, Arizona, and I went on a couple of trails out here. My favorite one out here was the Broken Arrow Trail. Fantastic. It's not super long, but man, it is a lot of fun. I highly suggest going on that trail. This one here is just a video of me going down an obstacle at the Southern Missouri Off-Road Ranch. It's in Missouri, obviously, hence that's in the name. It is coincidentally the first Jeep Jamboree I ever went to was hosted at we call it SMORR, SMORR, Southern Missouri Off-Road Ranch, and so basically, this introduction was basically to give you an idea of what the channel is going to be about, what we're going to talk about. We can talk about everything, right? We can talk about amateur radio, we can talk about GMRS, we can talk about different digital modes to get your position, your telemetry information, your latitude, your longitude, heading, speed, all those good things to others in the area. We can just talk about, amateur radio as a hobby. We can talk about off-roading alone, different rig builds, all that good stuff. But basically the real reason, behind it was to give newcomers to off-roading and radios a bit of informational videos on what it is, what's legal, what's not. I'm not by any means a FCC legal nut, right? I believe that rules are there for a reason, and most of the time I will follow the rules, but most rules are meant to be bent slightly, moderately, or severely sometimes, who knows, based on what you need it to do. And so that's really what this channel is going to be about. I hope you guys enjoy the channel. And if you have any questions, comments, or topics you want to have covered, please leave me comments and I will do my best to address them. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot and have a great day.